Hello and welcome to the Fit and Free podcast. This is a podcast for women who want it all, to feel strong and confident in their bodies, as well as enjoying a sneaky mug on a Friday night. I'm an exercise physiologist and sports nutritionist, here to teach you how to achieve your body goals without food and your body controlling your life. So let's jump in. Hello you guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Fit and Free podcast. Guys, can you believe it? This is episode 100. 100 episodes of the Fit and Free podcast. Oh, it just blows my mind that we have finally reached 100 episodes here. Oh, and it's just so crazy to me because it's honestly just feels like divine timing because of the specific episode that we're talking about, which is part 4 of my fat loss series, which is all about the secrets to actually achieving fat loss that last a lifetime. And today we are diving deep into building healthy habits that actually stick. And it just goes hand in hand with, recording 100 episodes and building healthy habits, because at the end of the day, if you want to succeed in anything, whether that's business, podcasting, or your health and fitness journey, it's all about building healthy habits. So it's just crazy that this episode just, landed on the same timing. So I'm super excited to dive into the episode today. But first, a little bit of a life update. It's currently 4:45 p.m. I'm sitting in my room and my life is literally packed up. We've packed up our life into 3 suitcases this time. We've downgraded again with the amount of stuff that we have. And I've already weighed them. One is sitting at 11 kilos. One's sitting at 18. So we're doing good. We're doing good with the kilos. But if you don't know, if you're a new listener, we are flying to the Netherlands tomorrow. Oh, I'm so excited. So by the time you guys hear this episode, we will actually already be in the Netherlands, which I'm so excited about. I'm so excited about the Christmas vibes. Oh my God. So we've been in Bali for a little over 5 months, which is just so wild. It's so crazy that this time is just it didn't fly by, to be completely honest. I've really, felt really good, felt really, solid here. This is the best experience I've ever had in Bali, because I've lived here a few times now. But my heart and soul is set on Christmas, and you do not get the Christmas vibes here in Bali. There's a little bit of decorating, but it's not like the Christmas vibes at all. So I'm super excited to be in Christmas as soon as I set down. I'm so excited for cool and cold weather. The weather here is just so humid. It's so hot, and I'm literally a sweaty mess all of the freaking time. So I'm super excited about that. And winter fashion, I'm excited about that. Dressing up really nice and cozy vibes with my cup of tea and my Christmas movie and my little biscuits. And also, one of the biggest things that I'm actually so excited about is getting back into my kitchen, having access to really good produce, fruit and veg, all of the things, because while yes, you can cook in Bali, but by the time you go and buy all the ingredients that you want to make with your food, it's cheaper to basically eat out, unless you're cooking and really sticking to local cuisine. But then if you're doing that, it's why wouldn't you just go to a room where you pay $3 for a full feed? That is amazing. So I'm really excited to have my own space in my own kitchen and get back in creating amazing recipes and just fueling my body really well. And I'm super excited about that. So that's a little bit where we're at, what we're up to. So now let's dive into today's episode, because honestly, it's this is hands down, I truly believe it's the biggest mistake that people make, and not many people are really talking about it, because everyone on the internet is selling, quick fixes, challenge here, challenge that, gym challenges, or, online PTs, join my 8-week challenge. And the problem with these challenges or these fad diets are what's the common denominator in all of them? It's restriction. And if restriction is the only way that you're going to see a result with fat loss, then as soon as you stop restricting, the fat is going to regain. You're just going to regain the fat. And it breaks my soul that so many women think that they have to go to these extremes and try all of these crazy things in order to drop fat, when you do not need to. You really don't. And when you cultivate the right mindset with food and, understand how to actually fuel your body correctly, achieving a fat loss goal is actually really simple. It really, really is, because essentially what you need to learn how to do is eat the same thing, but just change around your portion sizes. Like for me, for example, if I was eating at maintenance calories or if I was eating in a calorie deficit, like my diet more or less stays exactly the same, but I'm just changing around my portion. So maybe I'm going to decrease my carb a little bit, decrease my fat a little bit, and then increase my veg, and everything else more or less stays the same. And literally that's how simple it gets to be. So that's why it breaks my heart that people think that they need to be so restrictive and do these extremes to see a result, when actually you don't. And this is the difference really between relying on building healthy habits and just being restrictive. Because honestly, you guys, like this is where a lot of people are getting it wrong. So I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into a few more common mistakes that people make within this. And then I'm going to dive a little bit deeper in some real tangible things that you can start implementing if your goal is fat loss. So number one, like that whole restriction mindset definitely, goes hand in hand with relying solely on motivation to stick to healthy habits, without realizing that motivation is fleeting and unreliable. And this is the issue. It's like you get that shiny object syndrome, right? Like it's, oh my God, it's the new year, new me. Oh my God, I'm signing on to this diet. Oh my God, I'm signing on with this coach. I'm so freaking excited. I'm so excited to change my life. But 4 weeks in, when things are hard, when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling, like you've got a lot on your plate, if you're only relying on motivation in your health and fitness journey, then in these situations, when motivation dies, then you no longer stick to it. Another thing that I see with this is what people do is they super motivated, super excited, and then they start implementing things and results aren't as fast as what they anticipated. So they feel like nothing is working and they fall into this pattern of like, what's the point? I'm putting in this effort and nothing is working. So again, falling into a self-sabotaging pattern of not being able to achieve your weight loss goals. So that's mistake number one, relying on motivation and giving up when you're not seeing results quick enough, leading to you self-sabotaging, you making that mean that you're not good enough, that things aren't working, that it's not going to work out for you. So then you fall into that pattern of what's the point? Now, mistake number two is trying to overhaul their entire lifestyle at once, setting themselves up for burnout or failure. See, I see this all the time, especially like with, you look at 75 hard and any sort of like low calorie diet or any sort of gym challenge, right? It's like everyone goes balls to the wall. And what happens is like this cycle, it's like a big binge restrict cycle. It's a big all or nothing cycle. It's all in or then all out. And that's the issue with it. Because if you're just trying to overhaul your entire life and trying to do everything perfectly, as soon as something isn't to the standard that you want, then what's going to happen? You're going to be like, far out, I'm failing. I'm not doing well enough. I feel like I'm just back at square one. I'm not getting anywhere. So then what's the point? Self-sabotage. And literally, like, this is the difference between being just restrictive and versus actually creating a lifestyle and focusing on your healthy habits to actually see a result. And that's the difference literally between someone who is successful and someone who's not, is someone who is focusing on their healthy habits, which I'm going to get to in a moment, versus someone who just completely overhauls their life and being really restrictive and tries to get this result. Now, another thing that I see people do in this space, I guess it's a mistake, but also a mindset issue that people struggle with, is having low emotional resilience through a fat loss phase. I think I'm going to do an entire episode in on that. signs this is happening to you is you are giving up on your goals when you have a lot in your life going on. When you're stressed, when you're tired, when you're having conflict within relationships, when you have, your kids to look after. Well, don't get me wrong. Absolutely, everyone has their story. However, here, literally, the difference between those who are able to achieve their fat loss goals and those who are not are the ones who are able to continue to show up regardless of what's happening in their life. They are not playing into the victim mentality, because these people are not falling into, oh, I've got so much going on. Oh, I'm so stressed. Oh, I'm so tired. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. And I say this with a lot of compassion, because I too have a lot going on in my life at the moment, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to show up and record this podcast episode for you guys. You hear what I'm saying? It's just because you've got a lot going on doesn't mean you're going to give up on your goals. And literally that's the difference. And that's the mistake. It's playing into that victim mentality and essentially not taking radical responsibility on the things that we need to do to actually achieve a fat loss goal. So while yes, I say fat loss is simple, it does require something of us. It does require us to step up, even when we're tired, when we're stressed, when we've got so much work on, when we're trying to plan social events. It's in these situations, it really shows us our emotional resilience and essentially how much that we can trust ourselves. And that's what we need essentially to be able to actually show up in the way that we need for us to be able to reach our goal. Because I see it all the time is people give up too early and play into the victim card instead of actually focusing on their mindset, focusing on their stress, focusing on, challenging their beliefs and their thoughts in this situation. And something with mindset work, it's not something that just is a one and done thing, because every new level, there's going to be a new devil. So whether you're healing your relationship with food, you're going to have mindset blocks there. Then if you are, focusing on fat loss, there is going to be new problems. There's going to be new levels of hardship. So this is where we have to learn that, growth is uncomfortable, and doing things outside of our comfort zone is uncomfortable. And as humans, we are literally designed for safety and security. So when we go through these hardships, it's the reason why we fall and play out this victim mentality is because it's easier. We don't have to take responsibility on the things that we need to do. We don't have to do the things that are hard. It's easier to quit. It's easier to ghost. It's easier to just give up instead of facing what is actually causing all of this distress, this discomfort, these, what actually is the habits and the mindsets and the patterns and the reactivity and the behaviors that we're actually playing out. Instead, it's easier just to avoid all of that and just say, nah, forget it. I'm just going to stop. But then you see the problem with that is then you're not actually then being able to reach your goals because you're falling into these mindsets. Now, moving into the next one, and it kind of goes hand in hand with this one a little bit, is focusing on perfection instead of progress. And it's kind of a summary of everything that's been going on, literally, leading to that all or nothing thinking. Because I see it all the time, my hardworking ladies who are high achievers, type A perfectionists. And just so you guys know, being a perfectionist doesn't mean you need everything perfect within your life. No, what it actually means is that you set these extreme high standards for yourself. And if you do not meet those standards, you make it mean that you're failing and essentially that you're not doing a good enough job. And I see it all the time with people in fat loss is they don't do it exactly the way that they want. Maybe they don't track their calories perfectly. Maybe they eat a little bit too much. And then it really, it creates a lot of emotional distress because they haven't met their own expectations, and then they feel like nothing is working, they're frustrated, and again, they will fall into a self-sabotaging pattern of, well, again, what's the point? I'm putting in all of this effort and I'm not seeing any result for it. So that is the mistakes, and potentially I hope that this has maybe brought something out in you. Maybe it's brought something into your awareness that you might be playing out some of these patterns in weight loss. And I hope by telling you these things that it gets to, give you a bit of a light bulb, being like, oh my God, like this is why I can't stick to something. Because essentially at the end of the day, what it comes down to is being able to stick to your calorie deficit, and it's science. So and I see coaches all the time being like, just be more disciplined, just stick to it, just be more prepared. Yes, that is absolutely important, but it's also so important. Like if you are not looking at your unconscious patterns and beliefs and patterns and reactivity that is essentially causing you to self-sabotage your weight loss goals, then you're probably never going to be successful. And that's why I am so big on mindset work, as well as nailing your nutrition and exercise, so that you can actually remain consistent and so that you can reach your goals in a really sustainable way. So, hello, I'm just interrupting this episode because you guys, this is my 100th episode. Like, can we believe it? Like, this is so freaking amazing. You guys, you mean so much to me, and that is why I show up every single week to record these just for you. I love your feedback. I love it when you send me DMs on Instagram. Please keep them coming because I love hearing from you guys. So with that being said, I know there is so many of you are listening every single week. So as my 100th birthday present, I am asking if you guys could take literally 2 minutes of your day and just write me a honest review of the podcast. All you have to do is just open the Fit and Free Academy podcast, scroll all the way down to the bottom and leave me a little love note that I know that you're listening. And honestly, it would mean the world to me because there is a lot of time and preparation and commitment that has gone into this podcast. And the best way to support me to continue doing that is literally writing a review. So if you could do that, I would really honestly appreciate it. And I can't wait to read through all of them. So let's jump back into the episode. So why this is really important that we need to bring out these mistakes is because sometimes people don't even realize that the mistake is actually the reason why they're stuck in their situation. Because, sustainable fat loss is built on consistent habits, not temporary efforts. And, whilst fat loss, like for me right now, if I was to do a fat loss phase, it would be freaking easy. And I'm going to tell you why. Is because for the last 10 years, I have meal prepped my meals. Literally for 10 years. So of course, it's a skill that I have built. I wake up and go for a walk most every morning. Why? Because I love the way that it makes me feel. However, there was a time in my life where that was hard. I have been consistently going to the gym now 4 days a week for the last 5 years. However, at the beginning, it was hard. So the reason why I say that is because fat loss for me is now easy is because for the last 5 years, I have built a healthy lifestyle that I have extremely healthy habits. So doing anything now, so therefore losing fat for me is easy because I'm just doing what I would do every single day. But here's the thing, you guys, what you have to realize is that I've been doing this now for 5 years. I remember back in the day when it was such a slog for me to show up for the gym. I would every night, the night before I would set my alarm, I would be like, oh my God, I do not want to go tomorrow. I do not want to get up in the morning. I do not want to go to the gym. But this is what is required to essentially to be able to actually achieve a fat loss goal. So let's jump into some tangible things on how to actually build some healthy habits. So what I mean by healthy habits, it's the collection of all the little things that is going to help you actually lose fat in a really sustainable way. I'll give you some examples. Meal prepping, planning your meals, doing groceries on the same day every single week and doing a bulk shop after you've planned your meals. consistently going to the gym, consistently getting your daily movement in, drinking enough water, getting 8 hours of sleep every night, right? There are 7 healthy habits that if you implement all of those things into your life instead of labeling food as good and bad, restricting yourself, doing excess cardio on the machines, I can guarantee you those 7 things are going to help you lose fat faster than any sort of restriction, diet, challenge that you may have tried in the past. So, how do we do this? How do we create healthy habits and a sustainable lifestyle? So, first of all, of course, we need to know what our overall goal is. What is the thing that we want to achieve? In this sense, it's fat loss. Okay, cool. When I want to lose fat, what are the things that I need to nail in order to get there? I know I need to nail my nutrition. I know I need to nail my exercise routine. And I know I need to nail my mindset so that I can actually execute and actually stick to it. So in this situation is what you need to do is you need to start small. Focusing on micro habits, things that are small, actionable, and that they're easy to implement, and you build on over time. Because essentially what you guys have to realize is these are skills. They are skills that you need to learn how to master. And this is why I love teaching nutrition in the way that I do, is because I teach my clients the skills of nutrition. It's like running a business. And for me personally, like, okay, cool, I'm running a business. I know I need to build the skills of marketing, of sales, of customer service, right? And of course, I didn't know how to do these things at the beginning because I didn't know how. Like, losing weight is exactly the same. Okay, cool. I know I need to create skills of creating calorie deficit, eating the right thing, and eating the total calories and then sticking to it. I know with my exercise routine now, I need to strength train so I can maintain lean muscle so I actually drop fat, right? So, okay, cool. How can I break this down in some really tangible, actionable things that can help me essentially move me towards my goal? Okay, cool. A healthy habit that I'm going to start with, I'm just going to start with one. I'm going to plan my meals every single week on exactly what I'm going to eat. So I'm going to figure out what my calorie deficit looks like, my macros, and then I'm going to plan out exactly what I'm going to eat for 7 days. If you're new to meal planning, one tip I'm going to give you here, I've been planning my meals literally for the last 10 years, is make it easy, start with basic, and try and eat the same thing for at least, 1, 2, 3, or 4 days in a row. It's going to save you so much time. It's going to save you so much confusion and overwhelm. But that's what you guys need to be looking at. Okay, another idea for something that you could start small on is literally looking how many hours that you're sleeping every night. Like, how much time are you spending on your phone scrolling? Right? It's those things that people are like, no, I need to overhaul my life and be really restrictive. No, you probably just need to have 8 hours sleep and spend less time scrolling on your phone. So this is really, really important, right? Because, achievable actions create momentum, and a sense of accomplishment builds confidence and reinforce consistency. Now, the next thing that I want to say, my next tip for you guys, is focus on progress and not perfection. Your fat loss isn't going to be perfect straight away. You're not going to be able to stick to your calories straight away, especially if you are new to it. You're not going to get your portion sizes correct straight away, because you are going through a learning phase, and a learning phase is messy. It's uncomfortable. You are like riding a bike with training wheels on. So of course it's going to feel really uncomfortable. But this is the difference again between people who are successful and people who are not. The people who are succeeding are the ones that are utilizing these mistakes and these failures and these little fuck ups as lessons of, what do I need to get better at? What do I need to improve right now? Cool, I've made this mistake. Let me learn from it so that I won't make that mistake again. In comparison to someone with the perfection mindset, is they will make the mistake. They'll make it mean something personal about themselves. I'm shit, I'm failing, I'm not getting anywhere, so therefore I'm not getting a result, and fall into a self-sabotaging pattern. right? You need to be able to utilize your mistakes as lessons. And every time you're presented with a problem, it becomes an opportunity for you to grow and evolve. Because if you just fall into a shame spiral and judge yourself, then that just sends you down into a pity party, and you get stuck in the issue again and again and again and again. In comparison, if you can come in with kindness and curiosity and self-compassion to understand why you made that mistake, maybe you're just time poor. Maybe you just didn't take the responsibility and do your groceries or your meal planning. And then you fell into this, I had no food, so I'm going to order takeaway. Okay, cool. 2 ways that you can go about that. The perfectionist mindset will be like, I just had takeaway. I ruined my whole day. I just have to start again next week. Versus the non-perfectionist mindset, who will be like, okay, I have to have takeaway because I made the mistake. I did not take radical responsibility on planning out my meals and having my groceries, food sorted. Okay, cool. I'm going to order takeaway, and instead of making it mean that I'm failing, what I'm going to make it mean is that I need to take some responsibility and plan out my food so that this doesn't happen again. You can see the difference in that, right? Between someone who will be successful and someone who will not. So that's what I want you guys to really cultivate, is a growth mindset, is to be, utilize your mistakes and your quote unquote failures as a lesson so that you know what you need to do in order to actually be successful. Our mistakes are our greatest teachers. And when you can see that, your world will change. Now, the next part on this is building emotional resilience. And what that means is still being able to show up when you have a lot of shit going on within your life. When you're tired, when you're overworked, when you've got a lot of conflict. Like I said before, it's in these hardships, it's in these times is when you need to show up the most. Even when you do not feel like it. Even when the thing that you want to do is just crawl back onto the couch and just go back into safety to get out of all of these uncomfortable emotions and feelings. It's in these moments where we have to learn how to trust ourselves and continue to show up even when it's hard. And how are you going to do that? How are you going to build emotional resilience? Is learning how to trust yourself, integrity, and essentially what that means is keeping the promises to yourself. How many times have you said that you're going to do something, but you lack the follow through? Integrity, self-trust is everything when it comes to fat loss and building that emotional resilience. And you guys, it's like, when you have a lot of shit going on within your life, like I said, it's easier. We're hardwired for safety, for comfort, for security. So it's really, really easy to just say, fuck it, just give up. This is where you have to practice still showing up even when you don't want to. Even when that voice in your head is so loud to being like, I really don't want to go for X, Y, and Z. Like right now, I had a lot of resistance into recording this podcast episode. However, I said to myself, Thursday, I have to record an episode, no doubt about it. Like I am committing to it. I say that I'm going to do it. So it got to 4:45. I've packed up my house. I had a few appointments earlier in the day. I did a live training this morning, a masterclass, but I said to myself, I'm recording a podcast on Thursday. So what am I doing? I'm recording a podcast on Thursday. There was a lot of resistance. I didn't want to do it, but just because I don't want to do something doesn't mean I don't do it. And this is where you guys have to learn how to build this resilience and build this skill and follow through on your word. And something that you can start integrating, a really tangible tip, something I actually got from Niels, my fiance, is a plan is a promise. If you make a plan, whether it's with a friend, whether it's with yourself, you follow through on that plan. And honestly, watch your results literally skyrocket. And this is why it was so crazy that, this episode landed with this topic is just, it's crazy to me because that's what this journey has honestly been. It's been a journey of self-trust. It's been a journey of integrity and following through on the things that I say that I'm going to do. Like, I can't remember the exact stats, but like, it's within podcasting, it's like, you know, so many podcasters don't make it beyond 10 episodes. It's a really small percentage of people that actually follow through with it. And this is what is required. It's required a different level of commitment. And when I say commitment, it's actually commitment, right? Not just saying you're going to do something, because this is what this has been for me. It has been, I've said that I'm going to do this, and I've showed up again and again and again and again, even when I didn't want to. And it's just like a reflection of a lot of areas of my life. Like, I have been consistent within the gym for the last 5 years. And for the last 2 years, I have been literally traveling the world. I've been, 3 months in Holland, 3 months in Bali, 9 months in Australia. And through that entire time, I think like the only reason why I won't show up is because like I literally don't have access to it. So literally, for an example of this is, I'm flying to Holland tomorrow. We, we'll have our 5-hour flight, and then we have a 16-hour flight. We get there on Saturday. On this Saturday or Sunday, I will organize my gym membership. Like, it will be one of the first things that I do. Another thing that I will do is I will plan my meal. Actually, to be honest with you, I've already planned my meals for the first week that I'm in Holland, because I was just so excited about cooking. I'm going to have a burrata pizza, and I'm going to make some like Lebanese food, and I'm super excited about it. Anyway, I digress. However, like, that's my point, right? Like, I've already planned out my meals, and so therefore on the weekend as well, we'll go grocery shopping for the week. Right? And that comes down to all of the time that I've spent building these habits, but it's also my level of self-trust and integrity to my goals. And I have a goal, so a plan is a promise. So I'm going to execute it. And it's like, it's so easy. Like, it would be so easy for me to being like, get there on Saturday or Sunday and be like, oh my God, I just traveled for 24 hours. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Like, I'll just order food. No, that is not supportive of me. It's going to make me feel like shit. So, like, the reason why I say that is just, it's the importance. And I want to point that out again and again and again, is building these healthy habits so that, achieving any body composition becomes really freaking easy. My next tip for you, it kind of goes hand in hand with self-trust and integrity, is discipline and commitment. Because the way I look at any body composition goal, and my clients hear me talk about this all the fucking time, is be intentional with it, right? If you want to lose fat, then commit to the fat loss phase. There is nothing worse than having half a foot in and half a foot out of a fat loss phase, because what's going to happen is then you're going to try, you're going to fail, and then you're going to make it mean something about yourself and be like, oh my God, I can't stick to it. I can't trust myself, X, Y, and Z. Well, yeah, because you lack the integrity, the self-trust, the follow-through, and the discipline. Also, probably a really good, solid, structured plan, because, if you have an 8-week plan, sticking to it is not that hard, because you're like, sweet, I'm doing a fat loss phase, I'm doing it for 8 weeks, then I'm going to reassess my goals, and then I'm going to move to the next phase. And literally, that's how good it gets to be. So learning how to flex discipline and commitment. And when I say commitment, like, what commitment actually means is showing up for yourself just like you would showing up for your job, right? There's a difference between someone who's saying, yeah, I'm going to do something, and actually committing to doing the thing. And again, reflect on your own life. It's like, how many times have you said that you are going to do something? Like, yeah, but then you lack the follow through. That just means you didn't actually commit to the thing that you wanted. So this is why practicing discipline and commitment, grit, emotional resilience is so freaking important, because this is what you need when motivation fades. This is what you need to be essentially to be able to be successful with your fat loss phase. So I've got 2 more things that I really want to speak to. The next tip that I've got for you is address and overcome the victim mentality. Own your thoughts. Take radical responsibility of your results. This is where you have to build awareness in and around your own pattern. When you say things like, I can't do this. This is so hard. Oh, I'm just so stressed. Oh, I've just got so much on my plate right now. This is where we have to be able to take radical ownership and radical responsibility and ask ourselves in these situations, it's like, what is my part to play in this? Let's use, I've got so much on my plate right now. Okay, cool. Why do you have so much on your plate? Is it because you are lacking the ability to set healthy boundaries? Is it because you're running from a perfectionist mindset? So you're putting so much freaking pressure on yourself. It's not actually the task. It's the amount of pressure that you actually put onto yourself to do something a certain way. Is it a people-pleasing thing? Are you saying yes because you're so afraid of what that other person is going to think of you, right? Those 3 examples, you have a part to play in that. You have a part to play in your own stress. And I say this with so much love because I used to play the victim card so bad. I was like, oh my God, poor me. This is so hard. But the reason why it was hard for me is because I was a perfectionist. I had this standard that I needed this level of success and I needed it now and I wasn't there. So I made myself feel like I was failing and I was putting in all this effort and I didn't have anything to show for it, when actually I was just putting in a normal amount of effort. I just thought that I was putting in so much effort, but it was because the standard wasn't high enough. So I made it feel like I was failing even though I was doing the normal amount. So this is why it's really important to really be reflecting in on how you're showing up, the things that you're saying, and being able to essentially take radical responsibility and see where it's actually a you thing, not someone else's thing. Because it's so easy to sit there and play the blame game. Oh, the weather's bad. Oh, my partner didn't organize dinner. Oh, this. Oh, that. Oh, I had to pick up the kids. Right? It's really easy to sit there and play the blame game. But blaming others for our lack of results isn't going to get us anywhere. So that's why we have to develop this amazing emotional resilience and this amazing mindset. And the thing that you can ask yourself is like, what is my responsibility within this situation? What do I need to do to make this better so that things are less stressful, they become easier? And instead of overthinking everything and sitting in the problem and stressing about it, it's like, what do I need to do in that situation? Instead of stressing, what action plan do I need to implement so that I'm no longer stressing about these things 24/7? Because it could easily be like, you're stressing about not doing something and now you're like, oh my God, like I can't believe I haven't done that. And literally to stop that that overthinking, all you potentially need to do is just sit down and plan a little bit and then, oh, okay. All you have to do is sit down and plan in, for example, where you're going to do your gym sessions. All of a sudden, that stress has gone away. So it's always. It's like, what is my responsibility in this? What do I need to step up and do in order to be successful? Then the last thing that I want to speak to, that I want all of you guys doing, is you need to start celebrating the small wins. Literally acknowledge and rewarding even the smallest successes, like completing a single workout or hitting your hydration goal, sleeping for 8 hours. For me, for a really long time, like that was really hard to do because I had these really high standards. I wanted to be, I wanted to be successful. I already wanted to, and I wanted it now. So therefore, anything, even though I was succeeding and even though things were working and I was moving forward, I wasn't recognizing that because it wasn't where I wanted to be yet. So therefore, I was relying on this idea of this amazing success is going to make me happy. What actually makes me happy is celebrating the wins and the small wins along the way to actually see that you are progressing and building the evidence that what you're doing is working. Because there's been so many times within my fitness career and also now my business career, it used to be a pattern that I would play out. It's like I'd be consistent for a while. I would say like, oh my God, I'm not exactly where I want to be. So therefore, where I am right now is wrong and I'm not doing the right thing and I'm failing. So I need to change something. And then I would sabotage my goals because I'd like throw everything, start again, and without actually realizing, because I wasn't actually slowing down and measuring the progress and the small wins. I just thought I was failing, even though a lot of the time I was actually succeeding. I didn't see it, so that caused me to self-sabotage within my own patterns. But now the difference is I sit there and I look at the numbers and I detach from it, and I actually see that things are working and things are moving in the right direction. And it's the mind frame of like, just because I'm not there yet doesn't mean I'm not going to get there. And if this keeps going in the way that it is right now, then of course it's going to get there. But I could never see that because I wasn't celebrating the small wins, and that's why that's really important. So you guys, that is it. That is my secret sauce to actually achieving your fat loss goals. If you are not aware, the Fit and Free Academy program Recomp is now open for enrollment. So next year, things are changing here inside the Fit and Free Academy, which is so freaking exciting. So we now have the option to join Fit and Free Academy Recomp. And what this program is all about is reaching your body composition goals in a sustainable way through the method of body recomposition. And that, of course, is why it's called Recomp. So this is the program for you if you want to lose the stubborn fat or tone up your body and really focus on your physique goals. It is perfect for you if you have a lot of weight to lose, or you don't have much to lose, or you really want to focus on recomping in terms of like you've got to that goal weight and you want to lose fat and build muscle. Or it's really good for you if you want to go balls to the wall like I did this year and do a calorie surplus. So literally everything that I have been speaking about in these fat loss episodes is exactly what to expect inside the Fit and Free Academy Recomp. We're going to get your nutrition on point. We're going to set you up with an intentional plan. We are going to give you the right type exercise program specifically for you. And then, of course, we're going to work on your mindset so you can actually remain consistent with your body composition goals and literally implement everything that I have spoken about today. Learn your patterns, understand, build awareness, so essentially you can change them. If you're interested, all you need to do is send me a DM saying Recomp Podcast so I know this is where you have come from if you're interested. The next round we start on January 6th, but if you jump in early inside December, you will get a few weeks free and you'll get your plan early. So if you want to have your nutrition, exercise, your body composition goal sorted for 2025, I am your girl. Send me a DM on Instagram and I can't wait to chat and connect. Of course, I'm here to answer your questions to see if it's a perfect fit. So just reach out, send me a DM. That's as easy as it can be. So you guys, thank you for being here. I appreciate you all so much, more than you would ever know. That's it from me. I know it's been a long one today, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye. The number one challenge that all my clients face before we start working together is a lack of clarity on how much and what to eat to lose weight. Often they are making two huge mistakes: constantly trying to skip meals or eat under 1,600 calories. Secondly, only allowing themselves bad foods like chocolate on the weekend, but end up binging, all to tell themselves they're going to start again on Monday. If you feel like you have tried every diet under the sun and still can't figure out what to eat to achieve your weight loss goals, take my free 2-minute quiz. You can find the link in the show notes down below, and it will help you figure out exactly what you're doing wrong with your nutrition and exercise, and exactly what to do to fix it so that you can finally be confident in your body and achieve your weight loss goals.